Conspiracy videos love a dramatic screenshot or a 2-second clip, but what happens when we check the full footage, the scale, and the physics? Here are 8 supposed NASA glitches that collapse when we put the missing context back. They saw wrinkles on the rocket engine cover and decided the rocket wasn't inflatable. This isn't skepticism, this is screenshot archaeology with a conclusion. So Artemis II launched a month ago, and the flat earth crowd, Artemis deniers, and people allergic to basic math are still crying fake. Their latest masterpiece? A close-up of the SLS engine section. They see this cloth-like material around the engine, wrinkles here, seams there, and they come to either one of 2 conclusions. The dumb ones say NASA made a giant inflatable rocket, and the other conclusion is if this was real, they would make it look better. Here's the problem. This is exactly what flexible thermal protection looks like. It's not there to win some beauty contest. It's there to protect the important bits of the engine from heat, vibrations, exhaust environments, and movement. And movement is the key part that these deniers seem to skip. These engines gimbal. That means they pivot to steer the rocket. So if you put a tight, rigid, perfect-looking cover around moving engine hardware, congratulations, you've just built a problem. So you need material with slack, you need flexibility, you need room for motion. Wrinkles are not evidence of fakery. Wrinkles are evidence that the cover is not a solid shell. That's the exact point. Now check out this amazing footage. See all that heat and violence just under the rocket? That's not a place where you want exposed engine bits just hanging out because some random idiot on TikTok thinks smooth fabric looks more realistic. So this is the trickery that you get fooled by, flat earthers and science deniers. People zoom in, remove context, mock the appearance, and hope you never start critical thinking on your own. Science deniers version? Wrinkles mean fake. Reality? Flexible shielding protects moving engine bits. So no, the SLS is not some giant inflatable. This argument is, and it pops the second you understand anything and think for yourself. Once you start to critically think and you stop blindly falling for what you're told you must believe by TikTok memes, these conspiracies start to fall apart really quick. Get out there, do the research, test things yourself. Wrinkles only look suspicious when the engineering context is removed. But in the next example, the context wasn't merely ignored, the footage itself was altered. This is a video that a Flat Earth channel posted. They claimed NASA's using CGI, and they pointed to this glitch right here as proof. They even added the caption, "Wake up, you are being deceived, the Earth is flat," and say that the globe is a mental prison. Sounds dramatic. Here's the problem. This clip was edited. The so-called augmented reality fail isn't the real footage. So here's the actual footage NASA gave us. Same astronaut, Chris Hadfield. Same can he's spinning in the air. And no glitch at all. The can spins smoothly the entire time. I even slowed it down to 10% speed so we could see it in slow-mo and frame by frame. And would you look at that? It didn't glitch. So no, this isn't NASA messing up. It's someone faking a glitch to trick gullible people. If they have to lie to make their point, maybe their point isn't worth believing. Test the claim, look into everything yourself. That glitch completely disappears when we watch the original footage. The next claim uses an even simpler trick, editing a clip before the speaker finishes his sentence. This clip has been floating around for a couple of days now, and conspiracy channels are running with it. What's funny is this particular guy, DJ Hillbilly, took this clip from a 32-second clip from a 1-hour NASA press conference and cut it down to sound a bit different.
This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans. This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and this is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have.
It's funny because the first time he cut it, he let it go almost too long. So it's interesting how flat earthers, science deniers, and space deniers had to cut the clip short. Here's the full version.
This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like, we should, as humanity, we should take a brief moment to go, that's awesome. One of the things that we most asked for and look forward to is we are going to do a crew conference between Integrity and the International Space Station, the crew that's up there.
It's from NASA's Artemis II press conference that was held on September 24th, 2025. You can find the entire thing streamed to YouTube here on Sky News. And here's the funny part about them cutting that short. About 20 minutes earlier in this press conference, the astronaut said this.
We've been to the moon in Apollo, and so when we would go into this training and they're talking about us looking at the moon and all the things that we can bring, in the back of my mind, probably like in the back of yours, it's like, we've been there, we've orbited the moon. We've seen these things before.
So conspiracy channels not only chopped a clip into something misleading, they also ignored this, where he flat out acknowledges Apollo went to the moon. When you actually watch the full clips, they go entirely against what conspiracy theorists try to push. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on why you shouldn't fall for random 2-second clips on the internet, and do the research and watch the full thing yourself. Once we hear the complete statement, it says nearly the opposite of what the edited clip implies. Next, let's restore another missing piece of context: how cameras affect apparent size. So, flat earthers and some space deniers seem to have an issue with the Artemis capsule's video camera looking at the moon. This is a 3x zoom with the iPhone, but I'm gonna put this into perspective. There's the moon. Let's pretend this is the Artemis capsule. Look at how small the moon looks. So, although with your naked eye the moon does look bigger, when you have a camera and it's set up like this where it's seeing the vehicle and the moon, look at how small the moon looks. If you're going to try to deny something or debunk something, do it correctly. Don't do it with stupidity and misunderstanding. A wide camera view can make the moon look surprisingly small, but appearing small doesn't necessarily make something impossible to photograph. So next I tested the argument using the ISS. What's up, everyone? So Newton's Apple made a claim yesterday that the International Space Station is the size of a human hair in the sky and shouldn't be able to be seen. Now, of course, like any flat earther, he didn't give any type of distance. So could it be a human hair here? Could it be a human hair at my car? Could it be a human hair at the mountains you can't see because it's so bright? We'll never know. So what we're going to do is test it. The ISS is about 209 meters or 350 feet wide, and it orbits 250 miles above Earth. That gives us an angular size of about 50 arc seconds. Here's where it gets interesting. Out there, I have a single grain of rice taped inside that box that's painted very matte black to eliminate a lot of the light bounce. So it's as if we're seeing into the night sky. It is 40 feet away, which puts it at the same angular size as the ISS 250 miles up. And on this end, we've got the Globe Killer 950. So we're just gonna show it. Now with my naked eye, I can see it clear as day. I do have a flashlight shining on it so that it lights up. It's a black light actually, because it's the strongest flashlight I had. The camera is equivalent to what your eyes see, but I'm not seeing it on the camera screen. You might see it on the computer screen. So we're gonna zoom in, and wouldn't you know, this is like we would be filming the ISS from the ground up into the sky. But we can see it clear as day, can't we? Let's zoom in with the camera even more and see if we can make out that it's actually a grain of rice. Yeah, we can. Let me focus it there. There we go, our little grain of rice. So when we do the math and calculate it, ISS 250 miles up is like a grain of rice at 40 feet, and we can see and measure and film it just like we do the ISS. So I'm sorry, Newton, you made a claim. I tested it out, and it turns out that you made a false claim. Maybe give an estimated distance to the human hair next time. But I'll tell you, it's about 3 feet, which, put an eyelash on your finger and put your finger out, you can see an eyelash. The ISS claim failed a direct measurable scale test. But seeing something in orbit is only half the argument. Why do rockets turn sideways when traveling there? So hey everybody, we are going to use this video game here called Purple Space Program to teach some people something, because they don't understand why rockets go sideways. So here we have launched a rocket straight up to see what happens. I know a lot of TikTokers ask why a rocket goes sideways because they ditch them into the ocean or something, conspiracy theory. So we launched this one straight up. As you can see, we're still straight up. So when we ditch these boosters, they get launched right over, or they get released right over land, over population. Pretty unsafe there. So now, here's where our arc is. So hard to get into orbit when we're just going to shoot straight up like that. You can kind of see we just kind of go up, lose our speed, fall back down. So now we're going to show you what happens when we launch a rocket and put it on a tilted trajectory. I can't speak. But essentially, we launch it up, start to turn it sideways here. And as you can see, it's going a little bit off to our right. and here it's just a different angle, so we can see it is going to the right. It's not going straight up. So we launch it at this angle. Then when we, in a second we'll do it, we ditch these, they come off. Now we're over the ocean. So those aren't going to kill anybody. Those boosters, they get thrown off into the ocean. They kill a fish, which isn't great, but a lot better than landing on a house by shooting straight up. And then this game, it's a little different, so we can't do I could manually do a full arc, but I had it do auto just to make it easier on my life. So now it's burning completely sideways to get into like a circular orbit. Here you can see we're traveling just like ISS or any spaceship that's supposed to revolve around Earth. And you can see that it's got a circular orbit. So that's why we launch sideways. Rockets turn because reaching orbit requires sideways speed, not because they're hiding where they go. That brings us to another scale problem. If satellites are real, why don't we see them in full Earth photographs? So flat earthers and space travel deniers love posting memes like this. There are thousands of satellites, so where are they? And it shows a picture of Earth. This is the photo that I pulled from one of their memes. So let's put this into perspective. This is a picture that I took flying over El Paso. You can see El Paso and Juarez, Mexico. And we can verify that here. So we've got El Paso, Juarez. We will get down to where it's roughly my angle. Turn off the names of places. And we can see that this here is the Rio Grande River. That's kind of a canal now. And here we go in my picture. The Rio Grande River, that's kind of a canal now. So what we're going to do is completely ignore the US side. So all of this down here, we're going to ignore. And we're only going to pay attention to Juarez. So what we're seeing all of right here is Juarez, Mexico. Now Juarez has quick Google search, 1.6 million. Wikipedia, 1.5 million. Down here, global consensus says in 2020, 1.5 million. So we can say 1.5 million with surety. Now, if we look at this picture from 36,000 feet, where are all the cars? Now, we know it's 1.5 million people, and it looks like it's about 800,000 cars. Satellites range in sizes. On average, they are about the size of a dining table or a car. So again, 800,000 cars. Where are the 800,000 cars in this photo? So when someone posts a full disk image of Earth and says, where are the satellites? They're basically doing the same thing as looking at my photo from Juarez and screaming, why don't I see the Toyota Corolla? Brains are supposed to understand scale, and some don't. So those memes aren't evidence against satellites or space travel. It's evidence that a person making a meme doesn't understand size, distance, resolution, or basic photography. So please, truth seekers, use your brains, use critical thinking. You can still develop them. There's still hope. Stop falling for silly internet memes because you need confirmation so that you feel special. A satellite disappears in full Earth images for the same reason individual cars disappear in a photograph of an entire city. Finally, let's examine the claim that only a few famous photographs of Earth exist. A lot of people know about the Earthrise photo from Apollo 8 and the 1972 Blue Marble photo from Apollo 17, but those didn't come out of nowhere, and despite what some people might think, they are definitely not the only photos of Earth. There were multiple missions leading up to them. I'm going to show you a series of images from Apollo 4. It was an unmanned test of the Saturn V equipped with an automated camera system. These photos were taken from about 11,000 miles away with a Mauer 70mm camera. Enjoy. So 8 supposed NASA glitches, and every one depended on missing context, manipulated footage, or misunderstood scale. Dramatic clips are easy to share. Checking the complete evidence takes a little longer, but that's where the truth usually is.